Uh, Yay. No, I may forget to cut it off, but who knows? So welcome everyone this evening. It is wonderful to have all of you here. It's wonderful to see so many people who we haven't seen in a long time, and all of our faithful regulars who we see all the time. It does one's heart good. As we are on the eve of a snowstorm, which I think Charles is sending us. Shame on you, Charles. But anyway, well, it'll be here soon. I don't think I haven't seen any unfamiliar faces among the people who are signed on. So I'm not sure that we have newcomers tonight. But if we have, you're welcome to chime in right now. All right, I didn't think so. You have to be quick to chime in.
Wendy?
Yes.
Yes, this is Edgar. Can I have a couple of minutes at the appropriate time? I want to let people know that I will put a link for the completed video of our radio play from last August. So whenever the right time is right.
Right, the right time would be after the meeting programs and all, when we get to our business section, which may keep you up past your bedtime, but maybe not. But thank you for asking, Edgar. I appreciate it. So I am going to make our own Frank Morgan a co-host so he can make his magic with his first 15. And so take it away, Frank. And everyone else, please mute yourselves. If you don't, I will mute you.
Yeah, go ahead and mute me.
All right, Sandy.
Thank you.
So you've got the floor, Frank.
Okay. All right, now, can you see me? I mean, can you see the screen? Okay, all right, good. Well, do this last thing. All right, well, I was trying to take me out of the picture there, but in the early 1930s, the radio networks began their programming of 15-minute serialized daytime dramas. We all know that they came to be known generically by the term soap operas, due primarily to sponsorship by the manufacturers of soap and other household cleaning products. Now, this is a slide of Sandra Michael, and as I mentioned in the meeting notice, Jack French did an excellent article that appeared in the most recent Radio Recall about Miss Michael and her other endeavors. So if you haven't had the opportunity, I again suggest that you read Jack's article, Against the Grain. In 1939, Procter & Gamble gave a green light to Sandra Michael to begin production of an original program she called Against the Storm. Miss Michael had earned her writing credentials while writing for several soap operas prior to Against the Storm. The show premiered on NBC in October 1939. Miss Michael began writing her scripts for the show the day England declared war against Germany. Miss Michael was a pacifist and an anti-Nazi, and this was reflected in her writing. I believe you will feel it in the show that I'm going to be playing. Miss Michael wrote scripts as though the housewives in the audience were intelligent. She felt that this differentiated her show from most other shows at the time. Though it was a serial, there were no cliffhanger endings to carry the show from one day to the next. In Tune In Yesterday, radio historian John Dunning said, quote, Against the Storm was one of the most unusual soap operas of the air, a serial with a message, end of quote. The early episodes of the show revolved around the story of Catherine Allen, a refugee from Central Europe, and her struggles to adjust to her new life in the United States. After her marriage to Philip Cameron, the stories related to the day-to-day lives of the Cameron family and those around them. Some very recognized actors, Roger DeCoven, Arnold Moss, Claudia Morgan, Gertrude Warner, and Joan Alexander played leading roles. This is Jason Mayfield. There's a character in the program, a college professor in Connecticut, Jason McKinley Allen. And it was a device used by Miss Michael that allowed her to introduce literature and poetry into the storyline. And a highlight was the inclusion in a broadcast of a live shortwave reading by Jason Mayfield, who was the poet laureate of England at the time. President Roosevelt was scheduled to be part of a broadcast in mid-December 1941, but his appearance was canceled following the bombing of Pearl Harbor. The music for the show is by prodigious composer Alfred Newman. Newman composed the score for more than 200 movies, was nominated for 45 Academy Awards, and won 9. Now, Against the Storm had 3 runs. The first and its longest was from October of 1939 through December 1942. And due to the success of the show, Miss Michael wanted to expand it from 15 to 30 minutes. But despite its good ratings, the show was actually dropped. It resurfaced for about 6 months in 1949, and then again at the end of 1951 for about 8 months. Ironically, just as the show was about to be dropped, the December 1942 issue of Radio Mirror wrote, quote, "Against the Storm has been called one of the best propaganda shows on the air. Its fundamental message is the extreme urgency of united victory over fascism." Not surprisingly, when the venue of the program changed to Europe during World War II, Miss Michael chose Denmark, the land of her birth, as the situs for her storyline. The voice of Freedom Radio, which was, quote, broadcasting to the world the defiance of the Danish people to their Nazi enslavers, end of quote. Miss Michael was involved in a few radio endeavors after 1951-52 run of Against the Storm, but then transferred her talents to writing for television, short stories, and a novel. Miss Michael and her husband retired to their home in San Diego County, California. For its work during the 1941 season, Against the Storm became the first daytime drama to win a prestigious Peabody Award for Outstanding Entertainment in Drama. Now, the show I'm going to play is from Memorial Day, 1941, which was May 30th. So here we go with Against the Storm.
Against the Storm.
Like your brother Joe. How old would he be now if he hadn't been killed in the Civil War? Well, let me see. Today is May 30th, 1894.
Jason McKinley Allen remembers a day from his own and Porky Mason's country childhood. Today in Against the Storm. We bring you another chapter of Against the Storm, written by Sandra Michael and presented by the makers of I.R.S. Now, today is the last time this week I can remind you about the marvelous special offer new Double Quick Ivory Flakes is making. So please jot down on your calendar that today's the day to send in your order. Now listen, we're offering you a wonderful opportunity to get a pair of beautiful Boulevard brand pure silk crepe stockings at a truly tremendous saving. Yes, and we've selected these fine 3-thread crepe stockings with an eye to all the new fashion points, an eye to long-wearing qualities and beauty, too. They're full-fashioned, all silk from top to toe, and made by a famous hosiery maker. They're knit inside out, so you get that wonderful smooth dull finish on the outside. And that dull finish makes these stockings very flattering to wear. And the color, it's called Tiara, a lovely suntan shade that goes with every color in the rainbow. And now about long wear. Well, listen, these stockings have a heel and foot that are designed in a different way. No side seams where mean little runs so often start. and say, if you'll remember to take care of these stockings with new Double Quick Ivory Flakes every night, well, it'll help you get wonderfully long wear. Lady, are you going to be thrilled when you see these stockings? Why, women just rave about them. We showed them to hundreds of women, and most of them said they thought these stockings were worth at least half again as much as we're asking. In fact, dozens of them said they thought they should cost $1 or more. Oh, but look, here's how easily and thriftily you can get 1, 2, or 3 pairs of these Boulevard brand stockings for yourself. For each pair you want, simply send 50 cents and 1 Ivory Flakes box top, either size. Address Ivory Flakes, Cincinnati, Ohio. Stockings come in sizes 8.5 to 11, and be sure to include your stocking size. Remember, simply send 50 cents with your name and address and 1 Ivory Flakes box top to Ivory Flakes, Cincinnati, Ohio. Allow about 2 weeks for delivery. And hurry, friends, because this offer is limited. Good in the United States only. Professor Allen is standing on the porch this morning, thinking, or at least feeling, that this is Sunday. But today, instead of churchgoers, he sees a group of children, 6 or 7 of them, walk briskly past around the corner and off beneath the sunny trees. Some of them carried flowers. All of them carried small, rather inflexible flags. The sight awoke some vague suggestion of a very old memory in the professor's mind. He was trying to get hold of whatever it was when he heard the screen door open.
Margaret? Ah, good, it is you.
Oh, well, now. Who did you think it might have been? Nobody else at home this morning.
Really? The girls and Penny all go to church?
No, they've gone to the song festival at the Soldiers' Home.
Song festival? Oh, my word, I was thinking this was Sunday.
Seems like it. But it's Memorial Day.
Memorial Day, of course. That's what those children reminded me of.
What children?
Oh, a group of youngsters went by here a minute ago. Flowers and flags.
I suppose they were going out to the cemetery.
No doubt. I knew they reminded me of something of my own childhood. One very particular day when Porky Mason and I brought flowers and flags out to the Civil War graves in the country cemetery at home. Goodness, Margaret, I can see that old place so clearly. A gentle slope of ground to the south of the church with big old trees here and there, and the gravestones leaning a little this way and that, as if to make themselves more comfortable. It was really a very pleasant place, friendly and peaceful. Porky and I enjoyed sitting there talking that day. It was one of those warm, cool days, you know.
Very much like today, I imagine. And there were irises in the bouquets and bleeding hearts, and perhaps a few early peonies.
There were. And we had quite a time there at the church, running back and forth to the pump and down to the veterans' graves, filling vases and matching them up to be sure the bouquets were all fair and equal. When we were all finished, we sat down to rest in the shade.
Kind of warm, ain't it? You're kind of fat. I guess that's why you get warm when you work, Porky. Yeah, I guess. I don't care, though. Think we got 'em all about fair and even, Porky? I guess. I put an extra peony on that one over there, though, Jason. Seems kind of lonesome out there in the corner by himself. Looks that way. But I don't think you're lonesome when you're dead. Oh, gee, I would be. Nobody to go fishing with and nobody to talk to. Well, if you're in heaven... Yeah. Uh-huh. What? Well, I'd rather be alive, though. Me too. George Jeremiah Hewitt, born August 1st, 1845. Died September 27th, 1863. September 21st, 1863. Is that what it says? Oh, yeah, 21st. Aged 18 years, 1 month, 20 days. What's it say underneath the dove? Flowers are in the way from here. Says, died that others might live. He was a soldier. Well, sure, ain't that why we decorated his grave? Gosh, he was just about as old as your brother Joe, Porky. 18. That's not very old. How old would he be now if he hadn't been killed in the Civil War? Well, 1863 to 1894. How long is that, Jason? Oh, 63 to 93 is 30, and 1 is 31. Gosh, dead for 31 years. It's a long time. Kind of funny, isn't it? He got killed and some didn't get killed. Like your one grandfather and my uncle's. Grandpa's 2 brothers got killed. I know it. I'm glad Grandpa wasn't killed. I'm glad there aren't going to be any wars anymore. Pa says there always will be. Of course there won't. Don't do any good to kill people, Porky. And it's a sin, too. Can you imagine shooting anybody? Of course not. Why should I shoot anybody? You have to in a war. Grandpa shot a man at the Battle of Atlanta. He wakes up sometimes at night, crying. Your Grandpa Mason? That swears? Sure. He cries because he has a dream about the man he shot. The man wasn't dead right away, and Grandpa gave him a drink of water from a stream, and the man smiled and said thanks. When Grandpa remembers that, he cries. You know what my father says? What? He says, instead of people going out in armies and killing each other to see who wins, they ought to get up teams and play baseball to see who wins. Your father's a good joker. I like him. But he wasn't joking. He means it. He says it doesn't prove you're better than somebody else if you can beat them playing baseball. But it doesn't prove anything if you can beat them killing people either. And playing baseball, at least nobody gets killed. Well, if you get to be a senator or the president of the United States, you can put up a law like that, Jason. I'm not going to be president. Maybe you are, though. Not me. I'm going to run a livery stable and get myself a team of the fastest grays you ever saw in your life. Oh, golly, I'm sleepy, aren't you, Jason?
I think we both fell asleep, sitting there beside the grave of George Jeremiah Hewitt.
Aged 18 years. Died that others might live. Oh, Jason. And your beloved friend, Porky?
Poor old Porky. He got his livery stable all right and turned it into a garage eventually. And in 1917, he died in France. That democracy might live.
Did he have any children?
Porky? Yes, boy. I suppose he must be 26, 27 years old.
What would you say now if Porky could tell you over again, there'll always be war?
I'd say what I said then, with more conviction, Margaret. It's just as absurd to say that wars have to be as it would have been to say we'll always burn witches at the stake. Heaven knows we still do our share of a different kind of witch burning, but we do less of that than we used to, too. It may be that man's fellow feeling has been slower to develop than his mechanical and scientific skill, but we're learning.
I hope we are, Jason.
Be sure of it. Perhaps a new world, a younger world should come.
A younger world. That's what we need, isn't it? The honest vision of childhood. The same kind of unspoiled vision you and Porky had, looking at the follies of the world from a country graveyard. Sitting among the young dead who never should have died as they did. Oh, Jason, then perhaps someday that inscription really will come true in a sad, paradoxical, roundabout way. They died that others might live.
Friends, send in this very day for new Double Quick Ivory Flake special bargain offer. We offer you one pair or several pairs of beautiful Boulevard brand crepe silk stockings at a marvelous saving. These stockings are pure silk from top to toe. They're knit inside out to give you that smooth dove finish that's so flattering. So send for yours and then take care of them with new Double Quick Ivory Flakes and see how this nightly washing care helps you get wonderful stocking wear. Now remember, these stockings are available in sizes from 8.5 to 11, and they're made by a famous hosiery maker. You'll be crazy about them once you see them. So get your order in the mail today. Now, here's all you do. For each pair of stockings you want, send 50 cents and one Ivory Flakes box top, either size. Address Ivory Flakes, Cincinnati, Ohio. 50 cents with your name and address and one Ivory Flakes box top to Ivory Flakes, Cincinnati, Ohio. Be sure to include your stocking size. This offer is good in the United States only. Monday, Peter Alden, the young subject of all of Christie's and Philip's discussions, appears to his real father, but in an unusual dream. Monday, in Against the Storm. This is Richard Stark, wishing you a pleasant weekend for Procter & Gamble, the makers of ivory. 99 and 44 100% pure.
Okay, so there you have Against the Storm. As you could hear, the pacifist message of Miss Michael, it was clear in that episode. First, I want to thank John Abbott because he helped me get the wrinkles out of the audio, so we didn't have those issues tonight. And I wanted to thank Wendy too for giving me a dry run the other night and worked out some other wrinkles. So thank you both. And, I appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much, Frank. That was really wonderful. And great job, as always, on the first 15. So, did anyone have any questions or comments for Frank?
Wendy, it's Joan Leonard from
hi,
Arizona.
Joan.
Hi. I remember listening to Against the Storm. It must have been the end of 51. And I just remember that I thought it was a new soap opera that came on. And also, Melanie read me the article Against the Grain from Radio Recall, and that filled in a lot of gaps. And also, Sandra Michael wrote Lone Journey, and I also remember when that came on as a new soap opera, and I knew that it had been on before, but I was too young. And I loved Lone Journey, but it didn't stay on very long. So I just wanted to say that, I remember a lot of the stuff. And, well, everybody that knows me knows that I'm an OTR junkie. So thank you, Wendy.
You're welcome, and thank you, Frank. That was a wonderful stroll down memory lane.
All right. Thank you so much, Frank.
You're welcome. You're welcome, John.
So now we, I think if everyone is ready, I will make Sally our co-host, and she will make her magic on the quiz, which the topic, it's called Leprechauns, Colleens, and Leftover Valentines. And it was assembled by Frank, and it's unusual even for us. And that I will leave it at that and turn the proceedings over to Sally if she's ready. Are you ready, Sally?
I am ready, yes.
Yay.
So
take it away.
If you're not muted, everyone, mute yourselves, or I will find that power and I will mute you. If I could figure out how to do that as a whole, I don't know. I think I'll have to just mute you individually. All right. Oh, and you're gonna have to go into it sounds like you need a break, Edgar. It sounds like you need a break, that you need to step out and refocus yourself and then come back into the classroom when you're ready. Much better, thank you. Everyone else should be getting their materials prepared. Children, oh, very good. I love how John Abbott got his paper and pencil. Very nice, excellent. Wendy is on top of it today. Very nice, excellent, very good. I don't see everyone else's materials. Are you not keeping your materials in your desk? Thank you. Oh, but much better. I don't just keep pencils available for you. You have to bring materials to class. Thank you. Thank you. Much better, children. Now we shall begin. I haven't read this. Please remember, this is a cold read every time.
Just keep your poetic cadences going, Sally.
Oh boy, this is gonna be hard, isn't it? I mean, it's not like I haven't been teaching all week. Man, I had to sing today. I had to make oobleck, which if you don't know what that is, it's just water and cornstarch and green food coloring, which I've got all over my hands. Let me tell you, they loved it. 8-year-olds thought it was the coolest thing ever. So, I mean, I'm feeling pretty good about my week, but at the same time, whoa, I'm tired today. All right. I am going to launch the poll. You may move faster than I will read at the poll. I will do my best to reread or at least summarize the question twice. This is 4 pages, Frank. 4 pages. 4 pages. Just saying. Just saying. All right. Make sure you are muted and prepare for the quiz now. Launching poll. Confirm poll launch. Poll launch successful. Number 1. Radio had several performers named Valentine. One of these OTR Valentines was the host of radio's Dr. IQ. But which one? A. Gerald Valentine. B. Lou Valentine. C. Dick Valentine. D. Jim Valentine. Radio had several performers named Valentine, but which one was the host of radio's Dr. IQ? Number 2. An Irishman surely was he, used dialects far more than 3, on radio spoken, with English so broken, you'd swear he's from Italy. Who was he? A. Bill Thompson. B. Mel Blanc. Blanc. Now you got me all thrown off. It's all Frank's fault. C. J. Carroll Naish. D. Paul Freeze. I've been teaching the students about blends, and these are annoying vowel buddies. A repeat of number 2. An Irishman surely was he, used dialects far more than 3, on radio spoken, with English so broken, you'd swear he's from Italy. Who was he? Number 3. Doesn't it seem rather silly that a Colleen straight out of Philly found radio fame on a show with one name? But brother, it was a dilly. Who was she? A. Bernadine Flynn. B. Penny Singleton. C. Marion Jordan. D. Marie Wilson. A repeat of number 3. Game face. Doesn't it seem rather silly that a Colleen straight out of Philly found radio fame on a show with one name? But brother, it was a dilly. Who was she? Number 4. George Valentine called her name Brooksy. His aide and his gal pal she would be. And while he did care, he seemed unaware. Claire wanted to play more than footsie. Several played Claire Brooks, but which of the following wasn't one of them? A. Virginia Gregg. B. Betty Lou Gerson. C. Lillian Bayef. D. Frances Robinson. A repeat of number 4. George Valentine called her name Brooksy. His aide and his gal pal she would be. And while he did care, he seemed unaware Claire wanted to play more than footsie. Number 5. We're halfway there, bear with me. We leprechaun born Joseph Yule, on radio nobody's fool. Lots of gals he would date and married ×8, thus proving that little men rule. Frank, you broke me. Who was he? A. Kenny Baker. B. Mickey Rooney. C. Artie Shaw. D. Arnold Stang. A repeat of number 5. We leprechaun born Joseph Yule, on radio nobody's fool. Lots of gals he would date and married ×8, thus proving that little men rule. Number 6. A reprieve. The Valentine matter was a case on what popular OTR detective program? A. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. B. The Adventures of Philip Marlowe. C. The Adventures of Sam Spade. D. Richard Diamond, Private Detective. The Valentine matter was a case on what popular detective program? Refuel break. Number 7. This Irishman did a number of Lux Radio Theater performances, including one as a sports legend that also featured another Irishman, future President Ronald Reagan. Who was he? A. John Wayne. B. Clifton Fadiman. C. Chester Morris. D. Pat O'Brien. This Irishman did a number of Lux Radio Theater performances, including one as a sports legend that also featured another Irishman, future President Ronald Reagan. Who was he? Number 8. Called Gracie on air and in life, his sweet Colleen of a wife, but with lights turned to dim, what name called she him, avoiding all marital strife? A. George. B. Julius. C. Nathan. D. Irving. Called Gracie on air and in life, his sweet Colleen of a wife. But with lights turned too dim, what name called she him, avoiding all marital strife? Number 9. Insured animals caused him to holler. John Abbott's friend, Johnny O'Dollar, but all of his senses said paid the expenses and said pad the expenses and proved them to be no real bother. Which of the following animals was not an insured? A racehorse. B, a singing mouse. C, a prize hog. D, an organ grinder's monkey. Insured animals caused him to holler. John Abbott's friend, Johnny O'Dollar. But all of his senses said pad the expenses and proved them to be no real bother. Which animal was not an insured? Number 10. A Colleen, our quiz mistress Sally. Responses each month she keeps tally. We listen in awe. Answers read without flaw. Until its old nemesis, BB. On which of the following shows was BB a regular performer? A, Burns and Allen. B, the Campbell Playhouse. C, A Day in the Life of Dennis Day. D, all of the above. A Colleen, our quiz mistress Sally. Responses each month she keeps tally. We listen in awe. Answers read without flaw. Until its old nemesis, BB. On which of the following shows was BB a regular performer? Oh, Frank, you broke me. You broke me, Frank. I couldn't hold it in. That was a very fun one. I'm gonna keep the poll running in the background so that you can reread them, and then we'll go over it after our main program. So the poll will keep running. You may participate on there if you wish, and then we'll go over it later.
Good job, Sally. Thank you. And excellent job, Frank. A great dynamic duo. We look forward to hearing what the answers will be. Tune in after the main program to find out. So without any more ado, I think we've got John Abbott next. And this is delightful. We're going to hear about not Johnny Dollar, but Jack Benny and the IRS. So John, I'm just getting ready to make you a co-host. There you go. And so now you have the keys to the kingdom as well. And take it away, John.
Oh, okay. Let's see if I can not make an idiot out of myself by doing the wrong thing here. But the presentation that we're going to have tonight it's a repeat. This was suggested to me by Jeff Whipple some years ago, and it was the last presentation I gave in person before I decamped for Maryland. And so since it's that time of the year, and since I was an I.R.S. contractor for like 12 years, the I.R.S. has always had a soft spot in the back of my head. And when you combine it with Jack Benny, well, what could you have but a battle of the Titans? So let's get started here. We all know that Jack Benny had a reputation for being, what's the word I'm looking for? Thrifty. And tonight we're just going to examine just how thrifty he could be. But first, a little bit of historical background. There we go. Tax Day, as it was called, was introduced in 1913 with the adoption of the 16th Amendment by the Congress, which basically gave the government the legal ability to assess an income tax. Originally, the filing date was set at March 1st in 1913. Then later on, it was changed to March 15th in 1918. And finally, in 1955, it was changed to April 15th. And that date has been dreaded by many people for many different reasons. Old-time radio writers took advantage of this, and dealing with tax returns was a recurring theme in many programs. Among those fretting over their income tax returns at one time or another were George Burns, Bob Hope, Throckmorton Gildersleeve, Fibber McGee, and many, many more. Jack Benny had a series of visits from the IRS, as 4 of them actually, starting in April of 1952, when the filing date was still March the 15th. Now, we're not going to listen to all of these 4 of these programs. That would put us over the time limit, and I'm sure that Wendy would give me the hook. But we're going to listen to the relevant portions of 4 different programs to discover just why the IRS visited Jack. He had his first visit on April the 8th, 1951. This visit sets the stage for a recurring set of visits.
It'll be good to have Mary back again. I really missed her. That's that silly operator again. Hello? Hello? May I speak to Jack Benny, please? This is he. Do you reside at 360 North Camden Drive? Yes. In Beverly Hills? Yes. Yes, who is this? Oh, Mr. Benny, this is the office of the Collector of Internal Revenue. Yikes! Mr. Benny, did I hear a dog? Yes, down, Fido, down. Now, what were you saying? I said this is the office of the Collector of Internal Revenue. We'd like to discuss your 1950 income tax return. Will you be home for a while? Home? Well, yes. Yes, I'll be home. Good. We'll drop in to see you. Goodbye. Goodbye. Gee, this is strange. I never had this happen before. I know I filled it out correctly and...
Here you are, boss. I fixed you something to eat.
Who's hungry?
Boss, what's the matter?
I don't know. I just got a call from the Collector of Internal Revenue. They want to go over my income tax return. Down, Fido. I mean, Powell. I wonder what could be wrong with my income tax return. I'm pretty sure I did everything right. They couldn't get here that fast.
Oh, hello, Jack.
Oh, it's you, Don. Come on in.
Come on in, fellas.
Oh,
Well, Jack, how was your trip to New York?
fine, fine. Look, fellas, I told you to come in. What are you standing in the doorway for?
Well, Jack, what's the matter? You're so jittery and upset. What are you worried about something?
Worried? That's a good one. Why should I be worried? I just have a little headache. Oh, Rochester, get me an Alcatraz. I mean, an Alcatraz. Now, Don, you and the quartet, can't this wait till tomorrow?
Oh, no, Jack. Since your television show is going to be shown out here tonight, the sportsmen have prepared an appropriate number all about you.
Don, right now I've got so much on... About me?
Yes, Jack, listen. Take it, fellas.
And...
5'2", eyes of blue, on TV what they can do. Has everybody seen our Jack?
I'm taller than that, fella.
5'3", yes-sirree, he looks pretty, we agree.
I'm taller than 5'3".
Seen our Jack?
I'm taller.
You could be 5'4", 5'5".
I'm not 5'4".
5'6" or 5'8", makes no difference anyway. 6'2", yes, it's true, with that bankroll in his shoe. Has everybody seen our Jack? 2:15, 10:30, anytime, no matter when, you'll enjoy a lucky strike. 10 to 8, 5 to 9, morning, noon, or any time. Lucky is the smoke you like. They are so round and firm and fully packed, mild you bet. Lucky Strikes taste better than any other cigarette. In the spring, in the fall, now or any time at all, be happy and go lucky. Happy and go lucky. Happy and go lucky Strikes.
Jack, how about that? Wasn't it good?
Yes, Don, yes, it was good. It was very good. Now, Don, go, will you? Goodbye.
Jack, now stop pushing me.
Don, please go. You too, fellas. And you can stop with that, too. Now, just go. I'm so upset, I don't know what I'm hollering about. I wonder what those Internal Revenue men want. They can get awfully tough, too. They can even send you to... Say, I wonder how Dennis's uncle got into Tehachapi. I mean, if you gotta go, you may as well enjoy yourself. Maybe they... Oh, for heaven's sake, look at that. Right after Rochester did the spring cleaning. Look at all those ants crawling in through the window. Well, I'll fix them. Oh, Rochester!
Yes, boss?
Bring me the poison.
No, boss, not that. Face it right away.
It's for the ants. I'm not even thinking about those tax fellows who want to see me. Come in. Come in. They didn't hear me.
Mr. Benny?
I'll call him. Yes. That's me.
I'm Joseph Collins of the Bureau of Internal Revenue. I spoke to you on the phone.
Yes. Come in.
This is my assistant, Herbert Thompson.
How do you do?
How do you do? Sit down, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, Mr. Benny.
Yes, Mr. Collins.
Now, Mr. Benny, I have here a copy of your 1950 income tax return.
Well, I went over it carefully before I mailed it in. I'm sure I declared everything.
Well, Mr. Benny, according to your return, last year your total income was $375,000.
That's right. During 1950, I earned $375,000.
Then this figure denoting the money you spent last year on entertainment must be a mistake.
No, it's right.
Whoops, I'm sorry about that. My fingers
It'll be good to have Mary back again. Wow.
Well, Mr. Benny, we still feel that you're not getting the full advantage of your legal deductions. Now, think a minute.
Yes?
You're in a business where personal contacts are very important.
Oh, they are. For instance, last year I was anxious to make a picture at the Universal International Studios, see? So in order to make an impression on William Getz, the executive producer, I invited him and his wife to have dinner with me at Ciro's. I remember the check came to $56.
Well, why isn't it down here?
He paid it.
Well, you undoubtedly made an impression on it.
Yes.
Mr. Benny, just to be doubly sure, would you mind giving us a breakdown on how you earned $375,000 last year?
Well, let's see. I made $200,000 in radio, $40,000 in television, and $35,000 in personal appearances.
But that only amounts to $275,000. How did you make the other $100,000? Mr. Benny, how did you make that other $100,000?
Laundry.
Mr. Benny, do you mean that you actually take in...
I knew that, Joe. I knew it. My wife brings our washing here.
I thought I recognized your shirt. Those gravy stains are murder.
Well, now, Mr. Benny, believe me, we're trying to help you. Are you sure you can't think of any other deductions on your income tax?
No, I can't. But, gosh, why does the tax department want to be so fair to little old me?
Because little old you and General Motors are our best customers.
Well, I'm sorry, but all I spent on entertainment last year was $17.
Well, Mr. Benny, do you mind if my assistant and I discuss this matter privately?
No, not at all. Come, I'll show you into the den.
This is certainly a nice house you have here, Mr. Benny.
Oh, I'm glad you like it.
How many rooms do you have?
26. I got it on a GI loan. See, I was in the Navy during the First World War. Well, here's the den. I'll be out here if you want me.
Excuse us, Mr. Benny.
Joe, I've been with the Internal Revenue Department for 20 years, and I've never run into anything like this. What do you make of it?
I don't know. Here's a man in show business who's made $375,000, and yet he only spent $17 for entertainment. I feel there must be a mistake.
Undoubtedly. No man could be that cheap.
Of course not. Well, maybe we ought to go through his report again. Oh, by the way, Herb, do you have a cigarette?
Oh, no, I'm all out. But there's a box full on the table.
Oh, yes. Who took a cigarette? Who took a cigarette? Oh, it was you. Oh, that's all right. You can both have one.
Thank you.
Both. You can both have.
Thank you, Mr. Benny.
Both. Now, Mr. Benny.
Yes, Mr. Collins.
Now, please remember, we're trying to help you. We just don't want you to cheat yourself.
I know.
Mr. Benny, a man who makes as much money as you do could very easily spend $25,000 or $30,000 for entertainment, and yet you've only spent $17.
Well, I'm sorry, but that's all it was, you know.
Well, tell us, Mr. Benny, did you spend this $17 in one place?
Are you crazy? It's all itemized right there.
Well, Mr. Benny, I just can't understand this at all. I wish you'd think hard, because I'm sure you must have spent more than $17 for entertainment.
Well, I'll think it over, gentlemen, and then I'll let you know.
Goodbye, Mr. Benny.
Goodbye, Mr. Benny.
Goodbye, gentlemen.
Mr. Benny, before I go, I'd like to say something.
Yes.
Well, this whole thing is so unbelievable. By that, I mean, you have all this money at your disposal, and yet you spend practically nothing.
Well, I guess I'm just not the spending type, you see.
You know, Mr. Benny, I'll bet there are millions of people who'd like to see you elected president.
Thank you. Goodbye, gentlemen.
Goodbye, Mr. Benny.
Oh, Rochester.
Yes, boss?
Hurry up and finish your spring cleaning.
But, boss, I'm tired.
I don't care. Finish the cleaning. And do it well. In a few years, you may be cleaning in the White House.
What'd you say?
Nothing. I'm going out and play golf.
Okay, in this first skit, Joseph Kearns played Joseph Collins, and Will Wright played Herbert Thompson. Joe Kearns was a real veteran of old-time radio. He has almost 1,200 programs that he appeared on. And if you listen to Suspense in the early series, he was the man in black. Will Wright played in almost 270 some programs and a variety of different things. So let's go on to the next thing we want to talk about, which is this reference to Tehachapi. That was the California State Prison for Women, located in Tehachapi, California. How Dennis's uncle got there, we can only imagine. Interestingly, this prison closed a year after this program because of damage inflicted by an earthquake. Also, Jack's income of $375,000 is over $4.2 million today. The second visit from the I.R.S. was 1 week later on April the 15th, 1951. Let's take a listen.
Sometimes if that's Dennis again, I'm going to fire him. If they made me a king, I'd still be I better keep him. I'm a baritone. Oh, it's you, Mr.
Collins, Joseph Collins from the Office of the Collector of Internal Revenue. And you remember my assistant, Herbert Thompson?
Yes. How do you do?
How do you do?
Come right in, gentlemen. Sit down.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I didn't expect to see you fellas again. I thought we settled my income tax problem last week.
Well, so did we, Mr. Benny. But the Department of Internal Revenue still feels that you're not taking full advantage of your legal deductions. We want to be fair with you.
Fair with me?
Yes, we still feel that any man who earned as much as you did last year must have spent more than $17 on entertainment.
Well, that's all I spent, $17.
That's what we told the head of our department, but he just wouldn't believe it.
So he called the chief of the Federal Income Tax Bureau here in California and explained it to him.
Oh, and what did the chief do? Huh?
He called Washington, D.C.
And what did Washington do?
They're throwing the whole thing into the UN.
Gee, I never thought that I'd become an international issue here.
Well, now, Mr. Benny, and please believe us, yours is such a unique case that we're very anxious to help you.
I know.
Well, now, you've listed an item here, taking Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Coleman to the Mocambo, and you spent $3.90.
I took Miss Livingston, too.
And you only spent $3.90? Are you sure?
Well, I can't remember spending any more.
Well, perhaps if we talk to Mr. Coleman, he might remember the incident.
Well, he might recall something about it. I don't know. He lives right next door.
Oh, good. We'll drop over to see him. Well, goodbye, Mr. Benny.
Mr. Benny.
Goodbye, gentlemen.
That's unbelievable, Herb. Unbelievable.
In all the years I've been with the Internal Revenue Department, I've never come across anything like this. Have you?
Only once. I checked over a man's return, and for that year, he only spent $22 on entertainment.
Was he in show business?
No, he was a prisoner at San Quentin.
Oh.
In solitary yet. Oh, say, that must be the Coleman's house over there.
Oh, yes. I wonder if they're home.
Shall I fill your cup again, Ronnie?
Yes, please, Benita.
Lemon or cream?
Cream.
1 lump or 2?
2. You know, Benita, some people drink this Haddock straight.
Ronnie, you'd better change clothes. We have to have dinner and the picture starts at...
I'll see who it is. Now, where's my... Oh, here it is.
Oh, Ronnie, why do you always take a pen along? They may not even want your autograph.
Well, maybe you're right, darling. Coming.
Yes?
Are you Mr. Ronald Coleman?
Yes, I am.
Well, we're from the Office of the Collector of Internal Revenue.
Yipe!
Now, calm down, Mr. Coleman. It's not in reference to you that we're here.
It's concerning the income tax return of your neighbor, Jack Benny.
Good, good.
I'm afraid you don't understand. You see, last year Mr. Benny earned $375,000.
$375,000?
Yes, and according to his return, he spent $17 for entertainment.
That much?
But, Mr. Coleman, only $17.
Well, why would he have to spend more? He borrows everything from us.
Well, we'd like to come in and talk to you.
Well, of course. Come right in.
Who is it, Ronnie?
It's two men from the income tax department. No, darling, no. It's not about us. Right this way, gentlemen. This is Mrs. Coleman.
Pleased to meet you.
How do you do?
I'm Joseph Collins, and this is my assistant, Herbert Thompson.
How do you do?
Now, when are you sending Mr. Benny to jail?
No, Mr. Coleman. There's nothing wrong with Mr. Benny's tax return. In fact, it's just the other way around. We don't think he's being fair to himself.
What?
We're sure we can get him a refund, but Mr. Benny doesn't seem to be interested in getting any money back.
I see. Benita, I'll humor them. You look in the paper and see where they've escaped from.
Now, Mr. Coleman, we hate to bother you, but Mr. Benny has an item we'd like to talk to you about. Now, this one right here. $3.90 for taking you and Mrs. Coleman to the Macombo. You recall that night?
Mr. Collins, that and the time the garbage truck turned over on our front lawn are two incidents that are burned in my memory.
Well, just to satisfy our curiosity, would you mind describing that evening to us?
You see, we'd like to know how anyone could take a party of 4 to the Macombo and only spend $3.90.
Well, perhaps I can enlighten you. It was early last year, and Jack had invited us to the Macombo. The evening started off normally enough. As a matter of fact, we danced a while before ordering dinner.
I enjoyed dancing with you, Ronnie.
Oh, thank you, Mary, but the pleasure is mine. Here, let me help you with the chair.
Gosh, Benita, it was wonderful dancing with you.
Thank you, Jack.
I never enjoyed waltzing so much.
Yes. It's a shame the band was playing a rumba.
Oh, I hadn't noticed. Well, there they go again. Would you care for another dance, Benita?
Well, all right.
Mary, would you like to dance again?
No, thanks. I'm a little tired. I've been on my feet all day.
On your feet?
Yes, it's Saturday. I still help out at the May Company.
All right, then we'll just sit here and talk.
Say, Ronnie, do you mind if I ask you something personal?
Personal?
Yes, I keep hearing rumors that you don't like Jack too much.
Well...
Oh, I know he has his faults, but he means well.
Well, maybe so, but why can't he mean well to somebody else? If it were Jack alone, it might not be so bad, but it's those ridiculous people that are on the show with you.
What do you mean?
Well, that Phil Harris person. It's amazing, the character he portrays on the radio. Does he carry on like that in real life?
Shall we look under the table and see?
Oh, come now, Mary. You're making that up.
Yes, but the odds are in my favor. Maybe I just didn't guess the right table. But, he isn't a bad fellow.
Gee, Benita, you really are a swell dancer.
Well, maybe it's because I'm so fond of dancing.
You must be. Whoops. Oh, I'm sorry, Benita. I didn't mean to step on your toe. Did it hurt?
No. Thank heavens you're wearing tennis shoes.
Well, I like them. They're so comfy,
Oh, Jack, wait a second. You better get your handkerchief. I accidentally smeared some lipstick on your lapel.
Oh, that's all right. I'll wipe it off when we get to the table.
No. If Ronnie sees it, he'll be terribly angry.
Oh, I didn't know Ronnie was jealous.
He's not, but it's his tuxedo.
Oh, I thought Rochester returned it. Gee, this is a catchy tune. Hey, look.
The night is young, the skies are clear. It's light or lucky, you'll like it, dear. It's delightful, it's delicious, it's lovely. LSM, MFT, LSMFT, that's for me. It's delightful, it's delicious, it's lovely. You can tell when you puff that a Lucky Strike will never be rough. Yes, sirree, you'll agree that Luckies are mild. They're made of fine tobacco, round and firm, fully packed. A perfect cigarette, that's a fact. It's so LS, it's so MF, it's so LSM, it's so MFT. It's delightful, it's lovely, it's the happy, the lucky.
Well, here's our table, Benita.
Did you enjoy the dance, Benita? Well, yes, it was interesting.
Here, Benita, let me pull your chair out for you. Pulled it too far. Here, Benita, I'll help you up.
Darling, did you hurt yourself?
No, it's all right.
Just a little accident.
Jack, why don't you get us some menus? We want to order dinner.
Certainly. Oh, waiter. Waiter. We want to order.
Shall I bring you a finger bowl?
A finger bowl?
Well, you're not going to eat with those dirty hands, are you?
Now, wait a minute. Why is it that I always have trouble with you? Every time I run into you, there's an argument. What have you got against me?
Well, in the first...
I'm asking him!
Jack, forget it. Waiter, please give us the menu.
Here you are.
Thank you.
Now, let's see. What are you going to have, Benita?
I think I'll have shrimp cocktail, roast beef rare, and a baked potato.
Very good, madam.
I think I'll have a Caesar salad, broiled lobster, and some broccoli.
Yes, madam.
I'll have some consomme, lamb chops, medium rare, and green peas.
Yes, sir. Now, how about you, Arthur Murray?
I don't know yet. I'm still looking at the menu. Well, let's see. Shrimp cocktail, $1. Soup, 85 cents. Caesar salad, $1.50. Roast chicken, $2.75. Filet mignon. Whoops.
Oh, for heaven's sake, Jack, order something, anything.
Well, all right. I'll have some oysters.
Yes, sir. Half dozen or a dozen?
A dozen.
Fried or on the half shell?
On the half shell.
Blue Point or Olympia?
Blue Point.
Male or female?
Wait, how can you tell if an oyster is male or female?
We look at their driver's license. I knew you'd ask.
Just go and bring us our food.
Oh, all right.
By the way, Jack, you still haven't told us the reason for this little party.
Well, this marks, Benita, the 19th anniversary of my first appearance on radio. Imagine, 19 years. Ah, how time flies.
Well, it's certainly dragging its feet tonight.
Yes. What? What'd you say, Ronnie?
Jack, do you still enjoy doing radio? I mean, after all these years?
Yes, Benita, very much.
You know something, Jack? I've never told you this, but I heard the very first radio program you ever did.
Gee, Ronnie, I didn't know you were such a fan of mine. You listened to the very first program I did?
Yes. How have they been since then?
Oh, huh? Ronnie, you mean to say that you haven't listened to me since then? In 19 years?
Well, Jack, you see, it's like this. We're out every Sunday.
But how can you find places to go every Sunday?
It isn't easy.
Well, I can imagine. But then if you go out, you must listen to the radio in your car.
Oh, we do, Jack, we do.
Oh, well, what's your favorite program?
The Halls of Ivy.
Oh, yeah. Very good. I have friends on it. Well, here comes our food.
Would any of you like dessert with your coffee?
Not me.
Nothing for me, thanks.
Well, I might as well get the check.
No, wait a minute, Jack. I'd like to pay the check.
No, Ronnie, I wouldn't think of letting you. After all, it's my party.
Oh, I know, Jack, but I'd feel better if you let me pay. And I'm sure you would, too.
No, Ronnie, I insist. I invited you, so it's my party.
No, I tell you what, Jack. Let's split the check.
Well, it's okay with me, Ronnie, but you think it would be fair to Mary and Benita?
Mary, did you hear that? Why do you think I'm working Saturdays at the May Company?
I heard you, Mary, and I'm taking the check. Oh, waiter, I want to pay the check.
Yeah, I know. I heard you.
Well, why don't you hand it to me?
The photographer isn't ready yet.
Now, that'll be enough out of you. You better off paying more attention to your job. Some waiter. Look at the tablecloth and that. I've never seen such dirty linen.
Will you do them for us, Wong Fu?
That's beside the point. I've never seen such a rude, impertinent waiter in all my life. I've got a good mind.
Don't you stamp your tennis shoes at me.
Well, I've taken about all I intend to from you. I'm going to get satisfaction even if I have to take you out in the back alley and thrash you to within an inch of your life.
Jack!
Let me alone, Mary. I'm going to show this guy once and for all that he can't get away.
And Mr. Coleman, that was the evening you spent with Mr. Benny at the Macombo?
Unfortunately, yes.
But with all the food you ordered, it must have amounted to quite a bit.
Yes, it was about $40. I know, because I finally paid the check.
Oh. Well, wait a minute. Well, how come Mr. Benny's deducting $3.90 on his income tax for that night?
Well, that was for cleaning my tuxedo he was wearing. He got punched in the nose and knocked down.
Who punched him? The waiter?
No, Mary. She's a lovely...
All right. This is unfortunately the ending for that program has been truncated. Can't find the complete ending, but it's an entertaining show anyway. Ronald and Benita Coleman play themselves, and Frank Nelson, a stalwart on the Jack Benny program, plays the waiter. So a third visit to the IRS was 1 week later on April the 22nd.
What a day. The door, the phone, the door. Oh, I wasn't expecting you, Mr. Collins.
Mr. Benny, the Department of Internal Revenue suggested that we visit you once more. You remember my assistant, Herbert Thompson?
Yes. How do you do?
How do you do?
Mr. Benny, we hate to bother you again, and the only reason we continue to do so is because we're trying to help you.
I know.
Now, you stated, Mr. Benny, that you made $375,000 last year.
Yeah.
And we're willing to assume that all you spent for entertainment was $17.
Yeah.
That's right.
But now we've gone into your tax return further, and we feel there are other places you didn't take deductions you're entitled to.
Really?
Yes, we noticed you prepared your income tax return yourself. Now, when it comes to filling out a return as complicated as yours, you're entitled to the services of an expert accountant, a person who knows more about money matters than you do.
Name what?
Well, offhand, that would be difficult.
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Benny, believe me, we're trying to help you.
I know.
Now, you listed an item of a $50,000 loan with a California bank.
That's right, the California bank.
Well, you know you can deduct the interest you pay on that loan.
Oh, no, I can't. You see, I loaned it to them. Oh. Now, will there be anything else, gentlemen?
No, I guess not. Come on, Herb. Let's go back to the sanitarium and work on it some more. Goodbye, Mr. Benny.
Goodbye, gentlemen.
Goodbye.
Gee, but those two fellas are nice to me.
All right, short visit from the IRS. Wish they were all that short. The final visit from the IRS was almost a year later, on March 16th, 1952. This is the final visit by the IRS. And let's take a listen.
Boss, why are you staring out the window?
What?
Why are you staring out the window?
Those two men across the street. They just stepped off the curb and they're coming this way. Yes?
We're from the Income Tax Department.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you're the same men who were here last year. Come in. Your name is Mr. Kearns, isn't it?
Yes, and this is my assistant, Mr. Wright.
Wright?
How do you do?
Gentlemen, if you've come about my income tax, I've already sent it in.
Mr. Benny, we're not here to discuss this year's taxes. We'd like to talk to you again about last year's.
Last year's? I thought that was settled. We went over it so many times. Then when I didn't hear from you again, I assumed that nothing was wrong. I thought that everything was right.
How do you do?
Mr. Benny, we're still trying to help you.
Help me?
And we feel that you must have made a mistake in your last year's return.
A mistake?
Yes. We can't understand how a man who earned over $300,000 could only spend $17 for entertainment.
Well, that's all I spent. I can prove it to you. Rochester, get my books out of my desk drawer, will you?
Yes, sir.
Well, there's no need
I'm going to prove it to you for once and for all.
But, Mr. Benny...
This drawer here on the left?
No, the right.
How do you do?
Now cut that out! For heaven's sake!
Mr. Benny, no one shouts at a tax collector.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mr. Benny, believe me, we're here to help you.
I know.
Yes, we don't think you're taking full advantage of deductible items.
I'm not?
Here are your books, boss.
Thanks.
Take your butler, for instance.
You mean Rochester?
Yes. Even though he's your butler, if he assists you in any way pertaining to the production of your radio or television shows or any of your other business activities, then that portion of his pay is deductible.
You mean...
Yes. In other words, under those conditions, you could split his salary.
Split my salary?
Yes.
Gentlemen, they've split infinitism, they've split the atom. But I defy anybody to split my salary.
Rochester, this is no time...
Just a moment, Mr. Benny. Rochester, are you inferring that your salary is that small?
Well, in Santa Anita colloquialism, it starts off pretty good, but something always happens to it coming around the far turn.
What do you mean?
Well, every payday, Mr. Benny sits me down and explains how he has to make certain deductions out of my salary. So much for withholding, so much for unemployment insurance, and so much for Social Security. Then he further explains that what remains is known as take-home pay.
That's right. Take-home pay.
Then he points out that I'm living at his home, so he takes it.
Mr. Benny, is that right?
How do you do? I can play that game too, brother.
Mr. Benny, I just looked in the book that Rochester brought you, and there's an item that interests me.
Which item is that?
This one here. Income from violin engagement, approximately $3.
Yes, I filled in that entry myself.
But why is it approximately $3?
Well, I was playing my violin at the opening of a butcher shop, and they gave me 2 pounds of meat.
They gave you 2 pounds of meat for playing your violin?
They didn't give it to him. Somebody hit him with a round steak.
Well, I brought it home. What's the difference?
That brings up a point, Mr. Benny. If you receive revenue playing your violin, then the money you spend on its upkeep and repair is deductible.
It is?
Yes. You see, Mr. Benny, we're trying to help you.
I know.
For instance, Mr. Benny, how many strings do you buy for your violin? Rosin, pegs, bridges, repairing your bow, and so forth.
Well, I don't know. You see, I get everything through my violin teacher. He keeps track of all that.
Well, in that case, in order to help you, would you mind if we talk to your violin teacher?
No, not at all. His name is Professor LeBlanc. His address is 6212 Iman Avenue. It's on the other side of town.
We'll find it. Come on, Joe.
Well, Bill, there it is. 6212 Iman Avenue.
Yeah, what a run-down-looking rooming house. Let's go in.
Well, here's his room. Professor LeBlanc, violin teacher.
Yeah.
Professor LeBlanc?
Oui.
We're from the Income Tax Department.
Income tax? Income tax! Gentlemen, look at me. See for yourself. I am barefoot. My clothes are torn.
Professor!
I sleep on a hard spring. I ate the mattress. Income tax!
Professor! Control yourself. Yes, we're here to talk to you about one of your pupils, Mr. Benny.
About Monsieur Benny? Come in. Perhaps I can help you send him to the Bastille.
No, Professor. We just want to find out how much money Mr. Benny spent on his violin.
Money?
Yes. Don't you have any books?
Oui. I have written 3 books about Monsieur Benny, but the publishers would not believe them.
No, we mean records, financial records. We want to know what expenses Mr. Benny's incurred in the upkeep of his violin.
Oh, that I do not know. I just charge him so much for the lesson, and that includes everything.
Oh, well, perhaps we could break that down. How much do you charge him for the lesson?
Well, he is supposed to give me $2. But before every lesson, Monsieur Benny sits me down and explains how he has to make certain deductions out of my salary. So much for withholding, so much for unemployment insurance, and so much for Social Security. Then he further explains that what remains is known as take-home.
Come on, Bill. We've heard this before.
Yes. Thank you, Professor LeBlanc.
You're welcome, gentlemen.
Oh, by the way, Professor, we've never heard Mr. Benny play the violin. How does he sound?
Sound? Well, gentlemen, let me explain. The strings on a violin are made of cat gut, and the violin bow is made from horse hair.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to know how Monsieur Benny violin playing sounds, think of a cat being stepped on by a horse.
Yes, we understand. Well, goodbye, Professor LeBlanc.
Goodbye, gentlemen.
Say, Bill.
Yes, Joe?
Why are we going to all this trouble just to help Mr. Benny?
I don't know. There's something about those big blue eyes that gets you.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right, in this episode, the same actors played the IRS agents. A little lapse in continuity because they actually used their real names. And of course, Mel Blanc played Professor LeBlanc. Thus ends Jack's encounters with the IRS and the end of a rather humorous storyline. And the most important part of this particular presentation, the end. So with that, I will stop sharing. I'll turn the show back to Wendy and suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, I guess.
Thank you so much, John. I always love Jack Benny episodes, and it's reminding me that I need to get my information into my tax guy to file mine this year.
Remember, all the money you spend on makeup is deductible.
Yeah, 50 cents. Okay. So moving right along, I'm sure people have questions and curiosities. So any questions for John? Observations, appreciation? No Rotten Tomatoes. They don't travel through the electronic airwaves. Well,
I guess
John,
I'll have
you
it again next year this
you
time.
left everyone
That was a wonderful
speechless.
program. I really enjoyed it. I
there's John.
kept laughing all the
Let me
way
make a
through.
comment. Oh, well, go on.
It was great.
Thank you, John. Charles, did you have a question or?
Yes, not a question, but a comment. There was another time that the U.S. government had a different approach to him, and they wanted to almost throw him in jail. Do you know anything about that when he went overseas?
No, I don't.
Okay, yeah, he got into some sort of, I believe it was a tax fight with the government.
I think everybody in Hollywood has gotten into a tax fight with the government. Everybody is.
Was it about jewelry or diamonds that they thought he was bringing them back without declaring their value? Is that the story?
It may be. I can't remember. I know that I read about it. It's been so long ago that, but he was in this almost, it was serious, very serious. That's all I know right now.
Sounds like a good follow-up program. Yes, John?
I have a very short personal story about Jack Benny. My father and I were staying at a hotel in Detroit, and we were on the elevator. And when we went down on the elevator, Jack Benny was also on the same elevator. So we introduced ourselves to him and said how much we enjoyed his radio program. And he said, well, you know, I'm playing at the theater in Detroit tonight. I would like to have you be our guest, my guest. So we went to the program, and Jack Benny had his band, the band with had played, and went through all of the guests, Rochester and Mary Livingston and Dennis Day. They were all there doing a little skit in this program on the stage at the theater. And after they were all through, Jack was kept trying to play his violin, and he kept being interrupted. Well, finally he got to play the violin, and so he started playing the violin. The screen went down, the band went back, the screen went down, and they started the news of the day, the movie, the news. And so he just looked up at the screen and just walked off the stage. And that's how he ended his program. And it was just a delightful way to end it. You know, he just, the news video, the news film, just interrupted him as he tried the violin and went off the stage. They turned off the microphone and off he walked.
It's a wonderful
it was
story.
The very way that he ended, and it was a delightful way to end his show.
Well, it sounds like a delightful experience and certainly memorable. And he actually paid for tickets for you?
He gave it. He told us to go to a certain place, and there we were. We went in, and they let us in to the stage show, and it was wonderful.
How wonderful! That's just delightful. It's a great reminiscence.
Question. Yeah,
yes,
question.
Frank.
John, wasn't Jack Benny involved with the I.R.S. when he went from NBC to CBS? There was some litigation over the taxes that might be due as a result of the manner in which they set things up. Or am I mistaking him for someone else? I thought it was Jack Benny.
It may possibly have been. It rings a very distant bell in the back of my mind. But so many people had problems going from one station, one network to the other. It doesn't sound reasonable.
He did get in trouble, and not too many people know about this, but one of my radio historians told me the story that he did get in trouble for buying some with the importers, because he was buying some jewelry and things in New York that were sort of smuggled into the country without paying the taxes on it. And he was charged, but they were settled out of court, and he paid a considerable amount of fine. And I think I can come up with the information on that. The information on it is in the records of the Federal Communications Commission, because there was an investigation on Jack Benny at the time of his trouble with the failing to pay taxes on imported jewelry.
Oh, my goodness.
Not too many people know about that.
It sounds a little more research for you, John Abbott.
Oh, joy. Thank you, John Reiser.
This is what happens when you go into retirement.
That knows about
it. Great stuff. Any other questions, observations, curiosities?
One thing I was thinking of during the presentation is the one person who probably should be investigated by the IRS never was, and that's Johnny Dollar.
Oh, yes. But think of all those expense accounts that you just said, oh, forget it. Well, this is
for the IRS, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, right. Oh, well, that was simply delightful. Thank you so much, John. You know, it's sort of like fine wine. It gets better with age. The presentation. So thank you so much. Well, if there are no more questions for John or reminiscences, I think we need to, I'm sure all of you are dying to hear the answers to the questions for the quiz, which I don't think I've ever seen Sally laugh harder than she did while she was getting through these questions. I know I've never laughed harder. So I will turn the program over to you again, dauntless quiz mistress.
All right, very good. So if everyone can mute yourselves again, so I can get through the answers without losing it. I try very hard to stay in character. And you know, Jack and Frank have tried really hard to put me out of character, and this just pushed me over the edge. That was fabulous. All right, I've been running the poll in the background, and that's nice because I see some more people have gone on here. So I'm going to end the poll in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Poll ending. Results sharing. Confirmation of results. Can you see it? Thank you. Okay. Get your red pens out. Don't try and change your answers now. Just because the quiz is ended. This will be graded. And this is 87% of your grade.
That's great.
Quarter. 87% of your grade. So I hope you studied and like poetry. Number 1. Radio has several performers named Valentine. One of these Valentines was the host of radio's Dr. IQ. Was it Gerald Valentine, Lou Valentine, Dick Valentine, or Jim Valentine? Which Valentine was it? On our poll, we were kind of spread around, but the majority went for the Lou Valentine, and the majority is correct. He was the host of radio's Dr. IQ. I'm now going to read it in Sally voice. An Irishman surely was he, used dialects far more than 3, on radio spoken, with English so broken, You'd swear he's from Italy. Who was he? Who was that? Oh,
Oh,
you're
that
kind of spread all over the place
yeah.
too. Was it Bill Thompson, Mel Blanc, J. Carroll Nash?
Nice.
Nash.
I'm getting feedback over here. Did you see the AI? That's a
Nash.
blend. It's a blend. And
it's
the A,
Nash.
the first one, two vowels go walking. The
Charlie
first one
Chan,
does the
Sally.
first one.
J. Carroll Nash.
Nash? Whatever. Or D, Paul Frees. Another blend. Another blend. Could it be Freas? Could it be phrase? Man, these names. Who was it? I have no idea. Let's go straight to the answer sheet. It was C, the unpronounceable. Of course it was. If there's going to be a difficult name, I just think it's on there just to try and fool me. But oh no, that's going to be the answer. That's going to be the new rule for selecting answers. You can't fool me. Apparently you can't. Number 3. So good job to the majority again. Cheers, cheers. Number 3. Doesn't it seem rather silly that a Colleen straight out of Philly found radio fame on a show with one name, but brother, it was a dilly. And who was she? Wow, nobody went for Marion Jordan. Only a few went for Bernadine Flynn or Marie Wilson. Everybody mostly went for Penny Singleton. Is that the correct answer? Let's find out. The correct answer is B, Penny Singleton, who played someone with 5 names
Blondie.
on Blondie. Mariana Dorothy Agnes Letitia McNulty.
That was her birth name.
That's her name?
Yes.
That's it. I quit. I'm done. That's it. I'm done. I'm out. My name's so easy. I'm done. I'm out. Goodbye. I'm gonna look for Bob's and Joe's and Ann's from here on out. Number 4. George Valentine called her name Brooksy, his aide and his gal pal she would be. And while he did care, he seemed unaware Claire wanted to play more than footsie. Several played Claire Brooks, but which of the following was not one of them? Ooh, this one had us kind of split between Virginia Gregg or Lillian B. Not too many people went for Betty Lou Gerson or Frances Robinson. The correct answer is B. Nice job to the one person. Good for you who went with the knowledge and not the tricksy questions. Good job to you one person, whoever you are. Because I wish I could see. I would give you lots of props. But good job. Betty Lou wasn't her. Number 5. Wee leprechaun born Joseph Yule on radio, nobody's fool. Lots of gals he would date and married ×8, thus proving that little men rule. Ah! Napoleonic complex, I see. Yeah. Dad's trying to show me Nash over here. Yeah, Nash, people who don't know how to spell, whatever, rules in English. All right, who was this man who dated a lot and married 8 times? For real? That's a fact I did not know. So who was it? Nobody went for Kenny Baker or Artie Shaw. Okay. One person went for Arnold Stang, but looks like most everybody else knew this fact and went with Mickey Rooney. That makes sense because he was a pocket-sized, shall we say, individual. He was an interesting fellow, wasn't he? Okay. Wasn't he on one of the Lassie movies? You're all blank, so I'm going to go with no. Okay, there we go. Tough crap. Oh, it's because I made you all mute. Oh, it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. If only I could do this in the classroom. Mute. Number 6. The Valentine Matter was a case on which popular detective program? Most people said yours truly, Johnny Dollar, but could it have been The Adventures of Philip Marlowe? Done. Or The Adventures of Sam Spade? Done. Or Richard Diamond, Private Detective? Done. No, it wasn't. It was yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Nice job, everyone. A is the correct answer. Number 7. Oh, wow. This is striking. If you're all following me in the poll, which you should be. This Irishman did a number of Lux Radio Theater performances, including one as a sports legend that also featured another Irishman, future President Ronald Reagan. Who was he? Everyone who did the poll went for Pat O'Brien. I don't know if you all copied off of each other's papers or knew this, but I may have to do an investigation and throw this question out. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. But you're all correct, which also makes me suspicious. Maybe you all got the answers. Who paid for the answers? Snuck into my desk? We're going to have a discussion later about honesty. Number 8. Called Gracie on air and in life, his sweet Colleen of a wife, but with lights turned to dim, what name called she him, avoiding all marital strife? George, Julius, Nathan, or Irving? Now, my question is this his real name? Is this what we're going for? Let's see, because we were a little all over the place. And we were split. Most people were split between George and Nathan. The correct answer is C, Nathan, or Natty, as I see is noted here. Is this her full name? What is it with the 5 names? I mean, I am happy with 3 names. I mean, I actually thought for a long time that my name was 4. I had 4 names. I thought that my name was, because my real name is actually Sarah, so I thought it was Sarah Ann Sally. Like, I thought my name was like the whole thing, but it's not. That was, I was like 5. Okay, leave me alone. But
George Burns' real name was Nathan Birnbaum.
No, I knew that. But I'm saying Gracie. We've got Gracie's full name here. You can't see it. There we go. Grace Ethel Cecile Rosalie Allen. People with a lot of names. Can you imagine having to sign formal papers? I cannot. Number 9. Insured animals caused him to holler, John Abbott's friend, Johnny O'Dollar, but all of his senses said pad the expenses and proved them to be no real bother, especially not with the I.R.S. as we now know. Which of the following animals was not uninsured? Was it the racehorse? Only one of us thought so. Was it the singing mouse? I remember the singing mouse, so I was like, oh, the singing mouse, that one was great. Prize hog, or the organs grinder's monkey? That one made me go, huh. So let's see. The correct answer is, we were all over the place, so we weren't sure as a group. Hey, D, an organ grinder's monkey. No episode.
No episode.
The organ grinder's monkey is nothing but a red herring. Final question. Hey, Colleen, our quiz mistress Sally, responses each month. She keeps tally with your grades. We listen in awe. Answers read mostly without flaw. Until it's old nemesis BB. On which of the following shows was that one a regular performer? Burns and Allen, Campbell Playhouse, A Day in the Life of Dennis Day, or all of the above? Oh, you were only able to fool 3 of us, Frank. Only 3. That's okay, you 3. The correct answer is D, all of the above. If there is one thing I've learned about during the pandemic, it's about BB, and realized how she is everywhere in radio, whether I wanted to know or not. I now know more than could have ever been known about B. Benaderet. Boom! Mic drop. Quiz mistress out.
Thank you very much, Sally, for yet another stirring quiz. I'm sure everyone has enjoyed it. I look forward to that part of the meeting every month. So I also look forward to what Jack and Frank come up with in terms of questions. So with that, I believe we're at the sort of presentation end of the program. So we can move into the business section. I hope to get that done fairly quickly. And until we do that, I will.
Wendy, before you do
Yes.
business and cut it off, I wanted to just let everyone know about the link if they want to watch last August Radio Club presentation.
Great. Well, why don't you say a few words about that and then I'll cut it off.
Okay, sure. It's in fact, I've put the link in the chat, so everybody check the chat. You can go right from the chat to the link. As many of you know, we did hold a live meeting last August, and I appreciated Wendy's support very much because it was in doubt. But I stepped forward back in May, and we worked for about 3 months to put a great cast together. We did an original performance, a premiere of my play, Miranda's Miracle, a comedy and a drama about life, love, death, and reincarnation. But anyway, you can read about it in the chat. I'm especially grateful to Marcia and Mark Bush for providing the sound effects, and also to Hef Munson, who composed and performed the original music. And we had 3 people who shot videos that day. I was able to get a audio track completed and distributed to the actors in December, but we finally have a video. It's synchronized with a great deal of work, removing the loud, distracting noise of the electric fans, and Hef was able to reinsert all of the sound effects and music for much more clarity. So anyway, everybody, you can go to the link, and I will send something. Who should I send the link to post in our Radio Club website? Should that go to John?
John Abbott, I think, is
okay.
Webmaster.
Okay, it'll be in the notes when Wendy sends me the files. I'll just add that to all the things I gotta.
Okay, well, all you're going to get is the link. I'm not able to send you the actual files, but you can get the link.
All we deal with is links.
Oh, yes. Gotcha. Okay.
Like sausage for breakfast. It's nothing but links.
Gotcha. Okay, John.
John uses a 9-iron to make it all happen.
Do you know, does anybody know how I can copy and paste? Because I can highlight it, but it doesn't allow me to copy the whole thing here.
Well, you can go right to, if you hit the top, you should be able to go right to. You should be able to go right to the video and then share it to yourself on email.
Yes, yes. Okay, great. That I did. Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, you bet. And Maya, thanks to the great cast. And and when you see it, all their names will be announced at the end, but you'll recognize many of our club members and many other people, including Wendy and her husband. So
Well,
thanks, Wendy.
The club owes you a great debt of gratitude, Edgar, for your work, because you did the heavy lifting on that one. I made it clear that I wasn't in a position to do anything, and we were still in the middle of some pretty active COVID, and there were a lot of challenges thrown at you, Edgar, and the production in particular. And you were dauntless, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Wendy.
For all of
Everybody
that.
rose to the occasion. Thank you, Wendy.
You're more than welcome. And I have a feeling you'll never volunteer to do that again. But anyway,
I don't know about that. We'll see.
Oh well. There are witnesses to that statement, Edgar. Thank you.
Yes.
So on that happy note, I will stop recording, and then we can ideally quickly chug through our little old business and new business list. So let me just stop the recording.